Okay. I'm gonna start recording it then, so, because questions are always good because other people might have questions too. So while we're
Okay.
waiting, go ahead. Why don't you give me, what questions have you got?
Most of the annotation is pretty self-explanatory. My question is basically, you have me down as missing a subject line, which I am. I believe I'm aware of where that goes in an email. Where would you like it on the rough draft that I'm sending you?
You can just put it at the top.
Okay. Yeah, that was basically it. I mean, I had a few grammatical errors and then missing a third paragraph.
Yeah, that
Thinking.
Yeah, that paragraph at the end is really short, and just thank you, thank you again for meeting with me.
Okay.
You really have to say.
Okay.
So, okay, good.
Yep, that's it.
So I know everyone's listening. So if you've turned in the email, I have graded those. I still have, I think, 2 of the planners left, but anybody who's turned in the planner already, I've pretty much gotten through those. I just have 2 more to get through, and then I'll have those done. So the planners are actually due today. Let's look at the calendar together. Okay, so the planner is due today, so there's a lot of people that haven't turned it in, so they're going to be marked late. Even if you're not attending, remember you have to kind of follow the calendar. Your reference page, that's also due, and that's pretty self-explanatory because all you are putting on the reference page is the Bureau of Labor and Statistics and the tabs that you use. You probably want at least 3 tabs, might be more, because remember, in every section of your paper, you're gonna write about the Bureau of Labor and Statistics and the interview. So each section combines both of those sources. So if you're doing it on communication, ethics, innovation, work procedures, that's 3. You'd need information from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics for each one of those sections. Now you might be able to get it in 2. Some people, I've looked at their reference page and it only has 2, but I think you're going to need more than 2 of the tabs. But I could be wrong. As long as you cite it, that's all I care. When you turn in your planner, if I don't have your planner already, make sure you include your citations. So, like, I want to be able to see how are you going to write about the Bureau of Labor and Statistics in your paper. Brian, you did a really good job on that. You had all those correct. Also, make sure you cite your interview. So I sent out that handout the other day. Use that handout to see exactly how to write about the interview. You'll say the person's first name, first initial, last name, personal communication, and then the date of the actual interview itself. Okay. So the draft of the emails are due. I will look at them. I will grade them, but unless it's perfect, I will send it back to you and ask you to please make the changes, because we don't want to send an email to a professional in your profession that has errors in it, right? So if you got some stuff wrong, you lose some points here and there. They're not, it's a 25-point assignment, so it's not a major assignment. So don't worry about it if you forgot to put the subject line in and you lost 4 points or 5 points. Like this, it's not the end of the world. But I do want you to make the correction, send it back to me so that I can make sure it's perfect. Once I say it's good, then you can actually email it to the person and make sure you carbon copy me. So put my name on it as well under CC so that I know that you actually sent the email to the person. You're not really going to get full credit for the assignment until I know you sent the email. That's one of the stipulations of this assignment. Okay. All right. So we talked about the planner last class. Your grammar test is also due. So, you know, if you haven't turned anything in, if you're attending class today here live, you can have till, well, it's always really to the end of the day. I'll give it everybody to 11:30. So if you didn't PM, if you haven't turned it in, just make sure everything's in by 11:30 PM so that I can kind of grade them over the weekend and get them back. Are there any questions about the interview, the email, or the career exploration report planner, or the quiz?
Are the reference page, or does the reference page have to be separate from the planner, or is it okay? Because I put my references at the bottom of my planner.
That's fine. So hopefully I looked at, I haven't looked at yours yet, right?
I haven't got any feedback, so I don't think so now.
Okay, no, I haven't looked at it. So yeah, if it's at the bottom, I'll make the corrections on that. That you don't have to use the separate link for it. And it's not graded now. It's just for me to say, look, you got this error, go ahead and fix it, because on the actual rubric for the paper, it counts points. So I'm giving you a chance to fix it before you actually turn it in.
Okay.
Good question. Anybody else have any questions about any of this?
I did not turn my references in with my planner, so I assume that I can turn them in separately.
Yeah, there is a link on D2L. Let me go to that.
Just use the same career exploration report planner submission link,
No,
or no?
no, don't use that. So under week 6 submissions, you'll see reference page. Okay.
Yeah.
Use that.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So use that for your reference page. If you have it on the career planner, that's fine, as long as I have it somewhere so I can give you feedback on it. And again, this is the email submission. If you have to resubmit a second time on the email submission link. Okay. Does this arrow work for you guys? Do you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, good. I was worried I lost anybody. Okay. Any other questions of where you're finding stuff? All right, then I just want to then talk about, so the actual paper, the final paper for this is due next Thursday. So you have a week from today to turn in the paper. Now, I added a couple things on D2L I want to show you. All the way at the top, under Overview, there is a link called Virtual Support Center. The college has opened up a whole support center, and I'm going to go there and show it to you. You probably can't. Yes, there you can. Okay. So this virtual support center has a number of things for you. If you need to talk to an advisor for advising, since you can't meet on campus now, you can go to this link here. If you need help from the library, you can go to the library database or you can ask a librarian live. If you need any help with technology, you got that over here. And then, let's say you're taking a math test and you need the Math Center. Well, the Math Center now has a link where you can actually Zoom with a tutor and they will help you for math and physics. Same thing for the Writing Center. The Writing Center has a tutor waiting, has tutors waiting for you that if you need help, you just click on that and it'll take you right to the Writing Center. And it's kind of like what we're doing in class, so they can see your documents and you can talk back and forth and share things with one another. So it's just like if you were, pretty much if you're sitting there. Financial aid, if you have questions about financial aid, there's a link here. If you're having problems with mental health, there is a link that you can actually talk with a counselor. Other subjects, like if you have business, nursing, other science classes, the tutoring center here is not yet fully opened, but within the next week, they'll have people there for you as well. All right. And then if you have disabilities, there's the link to Dr. Zink. And Smart Thinking is through Pearson. I don't recommend that for your papers. I recommend if you're going to send it to the Writing Center, send it directly to the Writing Center. So it's kind of a cool feature. Also, under that, I added a virtual office hours. So this is not, I say it's not the classroom, it's my actual office. So don't use this link for class because I'm not going to be looking at it, okay? I won't look at it during class, but if you need help between the hours of 10 and 3, and you just, like some people come to my office and say, hey, Dr. Cook, I got a question, can you help me? You can use between the hours of 10 and 3 minus class, you can come here and get help from me directly, all right? If you want to make sure that you book, then go ahead and book it. But I'm going to open up my day. Since I have to be on the computer pretty much all day anyway, I might as well just have this for you. All right. So if you don't want to go to the Writing Center and you want help from me between the hours of 10 and 3 minus your class time, I'm available for you. And then, of course, under Getting Started is our Zoom classroom link. This is what I use to get on today, but if you're having other problems, you just click that. It's one click. You don't have to do anything else. You just click it and it'll open up automatically. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to put myself, well, it'll put me into the meeting again. I don't want to do that. But I made it so that you don't have to go here and then go over here. It'll open automatically for you. All right. So Zoom online classroom, that's for class. And then I also, well, your weekly schedule I think has always been there, but that's what you want to check. I might have some wrong dates in D2L. That was the least of my concern, is to get the dates in there. I do have the calendar updated, but if you see a discrepancy between the calendar and D2L, just shoot me an email. It's an oversight. I haven't had time to go back in all my classes and change everything. I'll try to do that. Are there any questions at this point? All right. So we're going to overlap now. You're going to be finishing up your career exploration report. It's a fairly straightforward report. There is the sample. I would really recommend you look at the sample. You have a week. If you can get it done by early next week, by Monday or Tuesday, you can then talk to a tutor in the Writing Center and they can help you and they can help you live. You also have the ability to, and I'm not sure if I have it on here, Getting Started, Resources. Yes, under Resources, Writing Center online submissions. If you don't want to talk live, but you just want to send your paper to the Writing Center and have someone look at it and email it back to you, you would use that link, Writing Center online submissions. And then over here, it's an email. You just click the email and you send your paper that way. But there's no back and forth. There's no discussion really. So you will get better service from them if you speak to them live. But that is an option now too. It was only for online students, but now it's for everybody.
Where is resources?
So it's under Getting Started, under Instructor Information.
Okay, I found it. Thank you.
All right. All right, so as I said, we're going to have a little bit of an overlap now, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm done kind of covering the career research report, and now it's just a matter of you finalizing it, writing it. You can submit it anytime you want. It is it's under week 7, because it's next week. Week 7 submissions, career exploration report submission. All right. If you submit it earlier, I'll try to grade it earlier. I appreciate anybody who is a little bit early, but don't rush it. Get the needed help for it first. So I want to talk about the final paper, and this is the persuasive research report. Okay, let me make this bigger. So it's a little bit of a lag time. There you go. All right, so now it's full screen. All right. So what you're doing in your persuasive research report is you're maybe attempting to solve a problem or to open readers' minds to an opinion. So you're going to you have to research something in your area. So if you're going to go into physical therapy, like someone here is, then you want to find maybe an interesting, controversial topic in physical therapy. If you're going to go into hospitality, what might be some potential controversial subjects? One could be green cards, because they hire a lot of foreigners for the industry, but you can kind of look at it your own. If you're going into nursing, what are some controversial subjects in nursing? One idea would be maybe the extended hours, 12-hour shifts. Some people love them, some people hate them. Hospitals love them, but when you have to work 12 hours, it's not always the easiest. Okay? So the thing is, it must be a topic that you can dispute, that you can argue with the person on. So there has to be another side to it. So you can't talk about the benefits of acupuncture, because, well, you can't talk about the advantages and disadvantages of acupuncture. You have to take one side and one side only. All right. Acupuncture is a controversial topic. There's people that think it's a bunch of stuff, and there's people that actually believe in it, obviously. So you could probably, research that, or dry needling is another topic in the health industry. Veterinarians, I don't know what might be controversial there. I don't think we have any vet tech people in here at the moment. So does anybody have an area where you might need some ideas? Mason, yours is going to be a little bit more difficult. So I would begin with a Google search. Persuasive research report topics in hospitality. Persuasive research reports in physical therapy. And see what pops up. You might find some interesting topics that way. All right, so what you're going to end up doing is you're going to make a claim. So let's say you're taking the stance that acupuncture really is a science. Then your claim would certainly be acupuncture is a science because, and then you're going to list your 3 or 4 points that you're going to prove in your paper. Okay. Again, this is all in APA. You need a research question. So that's what's actually due by the next class, I think it is to come up with a research question. So your research question is very broad. What are the benefits or disadvantages of acupuncture? That's your research question. When it comes time to for your thesis, then you're going to make your claim. Acupuncture is not a real science because, and then give your reasons. The biggest part of this paper is you need 6 sources. Okay, some do have to come from the database, and I highly recommend for this particular paper, SIRS, which I'll show you later if you don't know where SIRS is. SIRS is really good because it gives you both sides. It gives you pros and cons. So that's a great database to use for a paper like this because it'll show you both sides. You need to approach this topic not with one thing in mind. You want to approach it very broad. Are 12-hour shifts good for nurses? That would be your research question. And then you start researching it. And then you might find that 12-hour shifts are dangerous because, and then you give your reasons, okay? So your research question, really broad, kind of open. Your actual claim, your actual thesis statement will take one particular stance, one particular side. Let me stop here and ask for some questions. Then let me do it in a different way. Let's everybody share what your particular major is. And right now, just bounce some ideas off like, okay, so what are you thinking about doing just off the hand? We'll go in order so we're not all talking at once. Brian, you want to start?
Sure. My major is hospitality, business management, and looks like I'm potentially going to look into how the J1 students either help or hurt the local economy.
Okay.
I think would probably be my question.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Yeah, you probably can find enough information on there, I would think. How about you, Taylor?
Okay.
Oh, wait, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. How about you, Taylor?
My major is legal studies, and I'm not sure what I'm going to be looking for yet.
Yeah, let me think. Legal studies is a hard one to do. I will let me write it down. I will look up talk to some people and see.
Could one be like how broad like the laws and statutes are, and like you could say like how broad they are, that could either like help or hurt like a case, I guess. That could be one. Because what one person interprets, like another person might interpret differently, and that could definitely help them in a case.
You can start with that idea and see if you can find enough research on it.
Okay.
Go ahead and try that. See if you can find some research on it. I will still ask some colleagues as well and get back to you. I'll send you an email.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. How about you, Mason?
My major is biochem, but I did physical therapy, like my topic,
Okay.
but I don't have a question just yet.
What is it? Bio what?
Biochemistry.
Ugh, okay. Yeah. So we're gonna keep it broad to like a you can keep it broad to the medical field, or yeah, physical therapy would be fine. Trying to think of, I'm not sure offhand for physical therapy, but I will look. Biochemistry, and I'll write biochemistry down too. PT Mason. Again, I'll get back to you. So go ahead and do like maybe an initial search somewhere, and controversial topics in physical therapy or controversial persuasive research reports in biochemistry. You might actually find something in that. And I'll ask around as well and give you feedback, see if I can give you more information.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. How about you, Maya?
My major is nursing,
Oh, that's
and I
easy.
think I'm gonna look into maybe short staffing, or like you said, the extended hours.
Okay. Yeah, there's short staffing, extended hours. There's a ton of information on that. That's what a lot of people do. So you shouldn't have too many issues with that. Just kind of limit it. Try to keep it limited to like one thing. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So let me go back to, excuse me, let me go back to the process. So the first thing you're going to do, the first thing that is actually due next week is the research question, so I can see your research question. Then you're going to start looking for the sources. And so Tuesday's class, I will walk you again through some of the databases, and it'll be sort of like a regular class period where it's a lab time, but I can kind of guide you to the database and help you find the sources that you need. You need 6. They do not all have to come from the database. Some can come from the internet, but you have to make sure that they are good sources. So you want to look at the information literacy tab and go through that information to make sure that you have good, appropriate sources that are reliable. All right. The source evaluation, it's long. So you don't want to put that one off. It's kind of repetitive, but it is quite long. There's a lot of information. You have to look at that information literacy unit first. I can cover that on Tuesday very briefly because you're going to use the same information on your planner here. So this is your longest paper. It's 1,925 to 2,200 words, but it's an argumentative paper. So you are actually arguing a topic that you should be interested in, so it shouldn't be too difficult. It's not like it's a topic that you could care less about, okay? If you are struggling, you can do something on college in general. Like if you can't find anything in your major, it's okay to choose like college in general. Should college be free? I don't know. There's lots of different topics that you could do for college. You want to paraphrase most of the text evidence. Use direct quotes sparingly. That means not many. Probably no more than 3 in the whole paper. The rest should be indirect quotes. Only third person. You cannot use I and you cannot use you in this paper. All right, this one is, yes. Someone's coming, Shelby. Okay, so for this paper, you can only use the third person. So you want to be careful because you just had a paper where you combined it. You had third person and first person, but this last paper is only third person. And you is never allowed. So I shouldn't say that. You is definitely allowed in the email because you're writing to a person. So it's okay to say thank you for the information you gave me. We'll go over these a little bit later. And you can actually, this PowerPoint is on D2L, so you can kind of go through the rest on your own. We don't need to actually take time to look at that together. So again, it is an issue in your major. And the best source stinks. So the best source here is SIRS and Master File Premier when you go to the database. So I'll show you where it is right now. You should know it by now, but so you go to the resources page. There we go. And then, so there's EBSCOhost. So if you go to EBSCOhost, Master File Premier is the second one. Don't choose Academic Search Complete. Go to Master File Premier. Then hit Continue. And then make sure you check off the box that says full text. Let me point that out. All right, so you want to make sure that full text box where the arrow is clicked. If you don't click that, when you do your search, it's going to give you a lot of options, but not all the options will open up a text. Some of them are just like the citation, okay? So Master File Premier and full text. Why Master File Premier? Because those are newspapers, mostly, or magazines. They're easy to understand. If you choose anything else on EBSCOhost, you're going to get documents presented by universities and their research studies, and they're very difficult to understand. So Master File Premier is more student friendly versus, you know, if you're going for your doctorate or you're taking a master's program, then you can use the other stuff. All right. The other source I talked about is SIRS. And SIRS is also on that page. Down here, where the arrow is, that's SIRS. And SIRS gives you the pros and cons. So let's look at SIRS because it's a cool website and it's easy, very easy to understand and easy to use. You might find some topics on this page, to be honest. Oh, so if you're going into education, there's one on homework. That's new. They never had that before, and people always had trouble finding stuff on homework. Um, Social media. So a lot of these are, kind of big topics, but this is broken down into the different areas. So let's just choose one to show you. Let's do drugs, health, and wellness. I hate the topic of vaccines because people have done it over and over and over again, but whatever. Let's choose e-cigarettes. So look, if you choose from this page, it gives you two sides. This says regulating e-cigarettes would prevent them from being used, and this says e-cigarettes are a health risk. So these are good things, and these are the bad things. And then they give you a number of articles. We shouldn't ban flavored vapes. A vaping ban will send smokers back to the pack. So this is arguing, these articles are arguing for keeping that. This side is arguing should be banned. So going against it. So that's where I like this. If you can find a topic on this page, on SIRS, it's really good because it gives you both sides of the issues, and you have it all there. Now remember, what I would suggest, you might want to read both, but you're only choosing one side for this. So you're going to say e-cigarettes should be banned, and that would be this side. But it's always good to know what the other side says. And honestly, you might not get you might not get equal information. Find more sources on e-cigarettes. If you click on that, it's going to give you some other sources. Now, you want to please stick to the United States. Don't pick any studies that are done in China or, somewhere else. But again, these are all newspapers. To get smokers to quit, money works better than e-cigarettes. And they're not long. Like they're short because they're newspaper articles. So this is the easiest thing to use. And you have one other thing. There's a cite button. And you can choose APA. Now, this is APA 6. It's the wrong one. We're not using APA 6. We're using APA 7. But we got last name, first initial, date, month, year. That's correct. Day. This is written like a sentence. That's correct. Los Angeles Times is correct. So here's the difference. Today we don't say retrieved from. Everything else is correct. All right. So if you want to save yourself time, you can use these things, but please know there's always a mistake. So if you have a rough idea of what it should look like, copy it, paste it on your paper, but then make the changes. But you do have to understand it because these are never 100% correct. There's a mistake everywhere, right? One, because it's an old version. They haven't updated this to APA 7 yet, right? So we don't use retrieve from. If you use retrieve from, then I know what you did. I know you copied it. And be careful when you paste it. It's gonna single space it. You want everything double space, and you want to be careful it's not highlighted, because that'll do that too. Let me pause here for questions.
Sorry, this is Shelley. I'm muted because of my kids.
That's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's okay.
Okay.
You have a kind of bad connection though, so I can't hear you. Okay,
Okay. I'm moving. Can you hear me now?
it's getting better.
Okay.
It's like that telephone commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? While we're waiting for Shelby, does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so really, all you're doing then, you're going to come up with your research question and submit that. If you haven't submitted your planner, make sure I get your planner. If you haven't submitted your email, make sure you submit your email. If you haven't done the reference page, make sure I get that as well. And then we're looking in week 7. The actual report, the final version of your report is on week 7 submissions. Your research topic is also week 7 submissions. So work on your papers, but also start coming up with your topic and start looking for sources. On Tuesday, if you're having difficulty with the sources, I can help you. All right. Tuesday probably will also not be a long class. It'll be more of a check-in. Is anybody having problems or not? So Shelby, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Did you have a question?
I do. So I'm sorry, I kind of jumped on late. So when is this person's paper due?
The career research report paper is due in a week.
Because you had next Thursday, right?
Correct.
Okay, so when do you want the planner for the U3 paper?
That's not going to be for a while.
Oh, okay, but that's what you're teaching right now, right?
Yeah, but I just introduced it, yes.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure I was following you.
Yeah. Just hang
Okay.
on at the end and I'll talk to you by yourself.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Unmute yourselves and tell me that you're actually good.
I'm actually good.
You're actually good. Okay. You also know how to get to the writing center now, right?
Yes,
And you know how to get to my office.
correct.
Okay. Make use of it.
Will do.
All right. You can go. You're done.
Okay.
How about
Thanks,
the rest?
everyone.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thanks. Mason, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. I'll look up for some information and I'll send you an email.
All right, sounds good. I've been looking at questions this whole time, so
Okay.
I haven't found anything interesting, but
Yeah, just find something that's going to be fun and interesting. Don't pick anything real boring.
yeah, I'm trying not to.
Okay. All right. Maya,
All right, see you.
have a good weekend. You're good, right?
Yes.
All right. And you know where the office is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thanks. All right, Shelby, it's just you and me.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sure you hear them. That's what I've had going on, and I didn't want to not
Yeah.
be able to
That's fine.
focus. So I did just get the copies. I would have cited everything, but I had to look at other planners, and I noticed that I didn't cite on them, and this one didn't say to cite. So I have all of my citations and my references. I just didn't know